One thing I hate doing is making videos like this. The videos I like making have to do with debunking flat earth or filming rocket launches out of Cape Canaveral. The reason is because they interest me. But the shit that we are about to talk about does not interest me. But unfortunately, here we are, so here it goes. The topic that we will be discussing in this video has to do with fundraisers. Some of you may be surprised to hear this, but I like helping people. This has been the case as far back as I can remember, and when this channel did come about, I found a way to scratch that itch. Because of the fact that I'm able to get some kind of audience, not a big one, but decent, I've been able to help people by using my platform to promote fundraisers. For example, when Sean Hufford's father passed away, we raised funds for a funeral which provided financial relief to Sean's mother. So happy was she for this financial relief that she even kissed the camera in appreciation. Another example was a fundraiser for Marvel Girl. For a long time, she didn't have a bed to sleep on. My community thought that nobody should have to sleep on a lazy boy, so we got her a bed, some sheets, pillows, luxuries that we really do take for granted. Those are just two examples of how we have helped on this channel. Not only does it feel good to help people, but I would argue that lending a helping hand should be something we all should strive for, regardless if you're doing it through my fundraisers or not. And sometimes, giving others a path where they can help is all the motivation one needs to toss a few dollars to the cause. I do want to point out that this isn't anything special. I'm not reinventing the wheel. A lot of people use their platforms for many fundraisers. Most have more influence than I do. In short, I'm doing nothing special. This is a common occurrence, but I do what I can, and I'm proud when I do it. However, because no good deed goes unpunished, this has left a few people with an opportunity to slander my name, my friends' names, and the intentions regarding these fundraisers, especially the most recent one. Some of you already know who I'm talking about, but for this video, I'm not going to mention any names. The reason is they don't deserve my attention, and after this video is posted, I am going to work damn hard to make sure they never get a fucking second of it ever again. So the issue we will be talking about in this video is related to our good friend Bool once again. He sadly passed away on December 26th of 2020. His death was felt all throughout the community, and yes, a fundraiser was made to pay for any final expenses that may come up. But the people who like to slander kind acts like this took it upon themselves to make conspiracies, accusations, and to engage in slander. So tonight, I will address the claims, and not the individuals who made them. But before we get to the claims, I would first like to answer the following question. What is their motivation to slander in the first place? The short answer is retaliation. Most people on the internet have a group they are a part of, and if a member gets kicked out for whatever reason, they can take that just a wee bit personally, and they will usually lock onto a particular person to blame for their dismissal. However, it could go further than that. Not only could they attack the main individual they blame, they will sometimes go after his or her friends. This is one of those cases. This is where I became a target. Because of who I am friends with, they decided I would be one of the people they would slander in this campaign of retaliation. What this person did was lock onto the fact that I have helped people in the past. They decided to paint the narrative that these fundraisers were fraudulent. Why? Well, for the sole purpose of demonization, that's why. Most of the claims that would follow were addressed about a year ago, so this really is a case of rinse and repeat. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. But with that question answered, we will move on to the main issue, the fundraiser of Bool. I will assume you know the backstory already, as it's impossible to cover absolutely everything, but I'll do my best. After the fundraiser was completed, there were claims of a lack of transparency. Not only was this complete bullshit and funny as fuck, but we made it a goal to be as transparent as possible, because we predicted this might be a thing.
That's affirmative.
Can confirm.
Can confirm.
It was our plan from the start to show the receipts so there would be no doubt where the money was going and why. So we have a few topics to go over. The service dog, Dexter, the transferring of the funds, the road trip conspiracy, the jump the gun assertion, the missing check, and more. Let's start with Dexter. Dexter was Bool's service dog. This dog was trained to detect seizures. And from the very moment I met Bool years ago, Dexter was always by his side. Given the severity of Dexter's job, that makes sense. So, when Bool died, Dexter was sadly left behind. However, thanks to Astronomy Live and Vegan Atheist, Dexter was picked up, treated for a UTI with 2 trips to the vet, transported back to Bool's sister where he is right now in a happy and healthy home. So, what criticisms did we get for this good deed? The price. That's right, I shit you not. These assholes who didn't even donate thought they could lecture us on how to care for Dexter. First of all, every penny that was spent on this dog was done with the family's blessing. At no point did we do a goddamn thing that was against their wishes or without their approval. These people have honestly suggested that this dog, who just lost his entire world and is now pissing blood, should just be put in a crate and stowed on a plane, because that would have been the cheaper option. How about no, you fucking asshole?
It's a big business, but it's also a big risk. Putting your pets on a flight can be deadly. It's a problem we exposed nearly a year ago.
Now, investigative reporter Elise Kirchner joins us with another incident that a pet owner is sharing for the first time publicly.
When they touched down in Boston, Sinclair says Alika was severely dehydrated and Sedona was barely alive.
I am so sorry. Please forgive me. And Sedona's entire crate was filled with blood, feces, urine. Sedona was in full heat stroke.
Her dog spent 3 days in the intensive care unit. Medical records show Sedona suffered a heat stroke, blood clotting, and a urinary tract infection, problems she suffered during her United Airlines flight. The cost, nearly $3,000.
I will leave a link to that video down below. Be warned, it's kind of unsettling. This dog just went through hell. There was no way we were going to put that dog through that kind of stress. If we were going to care and transport our best friend's best friend, we were going to do this right, where Dexter would be cared for properly. We originally planned to have David's sister drive down to Florida to pick up Dexter, but when her car broke down and she no longer felt confident to make the trip, we started looking at other options. This is where dumbass comment number 2 comes in: why didn't you hire a private transporter? The answer is, why the fuck would we do that? The cost of such a service does vary a bit, but we found prices ranging from $950 to $1,750. And shipping Dexter by air? That would not be that much better, and would actually be fucking horrible for the dog.
Transporting a dog that size is not cheap. You can't just stuff him on an airplane and ship him off for cheap. You certainly can't get a professional transporter to do it for cheap. I know because I've got the quotes. You want to see some quotes? Here are the quotes. On the low end of the scale, you could have it done for about $950, on up to $1,249, on up to $1,750, depending on who you want to go with, what kind of service they offer, how many completed shipments they offer. Like this guy here, 35 completed shipments, 5-star rating. Yeah, $1,750. Not cheap. Considerably more than we actually ended up paying. For Coral to come down and do it, it ended up costing about $1,000. That's on the low end of the scale for a professional shipper. And I know you're going to say, oh, why didn't you just stick him on an airplane? Okay. Again, large dog. Maybe it's a few $100 if you have a tiny little dog that fits in your purse. This is not one of those. This is a gigantic chocolate lab, very big chocolate lab mix, and he requires expensive shipping. Okay, for a dog in this size class, the shipping cost alone for the airline, $562 plus an $85 surcharge. So you're looking over $600, about $647 if my math is right now. Kind of doing this off the top of my head, but you know, over $600 for that. Plus, you're going to need a crate to put him in that will be appropriate for an airplane. And again, this is a very large dog, so the appropriate crate that will be large enough to securely store Dexter you could be looking at as much as $300 for that. So by the time you're done, you've now spent close to $1,000 to stick them on an airplane where the temperature will not be regulated in the cargo section and will be an extremely stressful and potentially even dangerous situation for him.
And the one thing that payment doesn't get you is a familiar face. This is where Vegan Atheist comes in, because she was the one who actually did the transport. Not only was she somebody that we trusted and a dog lover to the max, the reimbursement given to her was $1,040 for the entire trip, and that was on the lower end of the price scale mentioned previously. And the funny thing is, you would have known this if you did any research, but I guess research is just too much to ask for somebody with really strong opinions. Not only did Vegan Atheist only ask to be reimbursed for the fuel in the hotel, but she also works in animal transport. So no shit she was chosen to make the trip, and thank fuck she accepted. And she took this job seriously, even paying out of her own pocket for extra toys and treats so Dexter would be comfortable during the entire trip. This is the type of care that Dexter deserved, and one that would be difficult to find anywhere else regardless of the price being paid. One has to wonder how you think bitching about Dexter's care brings any support to your side of the argument. And I can guarantee that any bitching from you regarding the care that Dexter received does absolutely nothing to back up your claim of a scam, especially when everything done was with the family's blessing. So what was dumbass comment number 3? Dog toys, dog food, basic dog care shit. The fundraiser we had was meant to pay for shit like this since the very beginning, because of course, while Dexter was getting treated for his UTI, he couldn't travel. So of course, care products were needed. But jackasses have actually said that we are scumbags for charging the family for pampering. We are assholes because we were pampering Dexter. First of all, you human tapeworm. Food and dog toys are the basics, and as I'm going to be repeating multiple times tonight, everything that was purchased was done so with the family's blessing. Everything from the chew toys to the kibbles and bits. On top of that, the amount of money spent on toys was less than what Astronomy Live donated. And considering that Astronomy Live was the one caring for Dexter, we can say that he was just reimbursing himself for that one. How in the fuck did you think that this was a good subject to bitch about, dude? It seems to me that people just didn't want Dexter to be cared for some reason. Yeah, fuck his health, his comfort, and his care. The most important thing is that you take the cheapest route possible to get him off your hands as soon as possible. That is a fucked up way of looking at it. And from Astronomy Live, Vegan Atheist, and yours truly, go fuck yourself. So, let's now talk about the transferring of the funds. A claim from an unnamed moron is that the transferring of the funds were purposefully made to be confusing. First of all, why would I do that? Second of all, there exists a document that has a fucking flowchart on it. You do know how to read a flowchart, right? If not, get an adult to help you. Your illiteracy is not my problem. Now, to be fair, I do accept that before this document existed, I misspoke during one of my live streams. When this was pointed out to me, I not only made the correction publicly on Twitter, but then I made the document itself, the one with the flowchart. But did this satisfy the dumb fucking question? Nah, he never once said, "Thank you for the clarification, I now understand." He instead continued to imply that this fundraiser was still suspicious to him. The truth is, it isn't. You are just running out of things to bitch about, especially when you consider the fuck ton of context that was listed in that document. Another even made the claim that my document only showed the receipts for the dog, and that was a problem. So basically, I was able to prove that the fundraiser was done properly when talking about the dog, but for everything else, it was supposedly hard to tell. Well, dumb fuck, apparently when you were scrolling through the document, you missed the part about the check that was sent to the family. I know you're a little slow here, so let me break this down for you. The check that was sent to the family does show that we met our obligations and did what we said we were going to do. With that money in the possession of the family, they could then use those funds for whatever the fuck the family needs to take care of. The receipts cover the dog, but the check covers literally everything else. You refusing to show that check in your post demonstrates either pure dumb fuckery or complete dishonesty, and a few people have correctly pointed out that it could be both. So I can see why you were confused by that document. That tends to happen when you ignore what is written in it. Next, we have the road trip conspiracy, and this one is just adorable. It's no secret that I moved out of Florida because, let's face it, it's Florida. And apparently that motivated a special little idiot to make the claim that I used the funds from the fundraiser to fund my move. Because the timing was suspect, I fucking guess? I don't know. But that's not all. He also claims that Sean Huffer did the exact same thing. The debunk of this is very straightforward, but apparently too complicated for the idiot making the claim, so let's take this step by step. This is a screenshot showing a few DMs between me and Bool. You see this image? That is my car covered in snow. And you see this message sent right after that says Merry Christmas? That is the very last message I ever received from Bool. So Bool was still alive when I got to my new home. So unless this special little dipshit wants to make the argument that we got a foot of snow in Tampa, Florida recently, this completely debunks the idea that I used the funds to fund my move. And to prove this image is legit and to show that I'm still here, I played a video that shows me wiping the snow off my car, which is the same car in the image. This video was made on the 18th of February, right after the dipshit made the conspiracy in the first place. So motherfucker, despite your claim to the contrary, this video actually does prove something. It proves that your conspiracy is fucking wrong. As for Sean Hufford, his Twitter history shows that he was a few hours into his road trip before he even knew there was going to be a fundraiser. And given the receipts that we have shown and the fact that we can account for every penny, we actually have a cumulative case against your lie. After this was shown, did the douchebag apologize for his error? Nope, of course not. That would mean admitting that a certain somebody was pulling conspiracies out of their ass. And who wants to admit to that? Instead, he just claims that our rebuttal didn't prove anything. Yeah, fuck you, dude. It proves that you were wrong. But in all fairness, I expected nothing less from somebody who was confused by larger than normal font size. But don't worry, guys. He knows he is wrong. You can tell because when he gets busted this badly, he makes the sound of a turkey. Let's just think what's being said here. This guy is making the claim that I used Bool's death to enrich myself. And to that I say, do you not see how fucked up that is? Especially when you have all this evidence that shows that you were wrong the entire time. Any decent human being would never come up with such a conspiracy in the first place, and would also vilify those that push such conspiracies. But you have crossed that line that no decent person would cross, which only backs up why none of us wanted anything to do with you. That is on you, 100%. And if you want my opinion, I think you're an evil, twisted fuck because of it. This behavior of spreading demonstrably false information is not only reminiscent of flat earthers, but also carries the stench of Brett Keane, and nobody wants to smell that. Nobody running this fundraiser made a dime from it. In fact, we all lost money in this endeavor. But that was okay, because the people who made Bool's fundraiser a success are decent people and they didn't mind helping out. And the funny part is, I warned them about the tidal wave of shit that would soon be streaming from your mouth. I warned them that a sad scumbag would try to push conspiracy theories about this, and all to fund an addiction that he proudly displays on screen.
That is also correct.
Can confirm again.
Yes, that is correct.
And now we move on to the jump the gun conspiracy. This claim doesn't revolve around a scam narrative, however it's just as wrong and just as stupid. So I want to address it anyway, along with branching into something else that is even more important. Now, this person did disguise his assertion by simply saying, "It seems true. I'm not saying it is actually true, but given the dog shit history of this person's behavior, and given the people he has backed in the past, I'm not willing to give him that charity. I believe he was making an assertion, and I will treat it as such. In short, the claim is that I never spoke to the family before making the fundraiser, that I made the decision on my own to run it, and did not get the family's blessing before doing so. The simple fact is that this claim was debunked not only in the document, but also in an interview I had with the sister. She confirmed that we made contact only a few hours after Bool's death and days before the fundraiser started. After she gave her blessing, she confirmed that we were in constant communication with her every step of the way. She confirmed her blessing for how Dexter was cared for and transported, and she also confirmed that the family did receive the funds as described. This demonstrates that the check shown was not fake as others have speculated. But did he accept this correction? Nope. None of their friends did. Instead, their response was to complain that I was dragging Bool's sister into it and that I was coaching her on what to say. I appreciate their fake concern. First of all, that interview was her idea. She believed answering these questions would clear everything up in a way that could not be argued against. And guess what? They fucking can't. Why do you think they are complaining about the delivery of the debunk rather than taking the hint and accepting the information presented, even going so far as to make the claim that I traumatized her with my questioning? Not only is that just adorable, but it really shows how much you now realize that your conspiracy has just been obliterated. Because if the family is backing me against your conspiracy, that means you are left with only two options. The first is to admit that you are wrong about this fundraiser and so were your pals, but that would require intellectual honesty, which you don't fucking have, so scratch that. Or you could make up some more bullshit as to why you will not accept what the family is telling you. This is the ultimate case of denialism. But sadly, just screaming fake news isn't going to save you here. You fucked up. You promoted bullshit, and you will have to accept the fact that the family has my back over yours, and that puts a huge dent in your conspiracy and in whatever credibility you think you have left. To everybody who made the claim that her appearance was somehow abusive to her, go fuck yourself. I did interview her, and I don't apologize. Everything done was with her blessing, and as you fuckers will soon find out, she is more pissed off that you shitheads would even think to speak for her. And I will believe her opinion over yours all day, every fucking year. As if you could even pretend to know what she's feeling given the shit that you have been spewing for a number of weeks. But don't worry, you'll see what I'm talking about later in this video. But why now? Why is she now debunking all of you dipshits who have disrespected the people who ran this fundraiser for her brother? Because all this shit is public. After making friends with vegan atheists and popping by her Twitter, she found this video.
Hi, I was just advised that there are questions in regards to Dexter's trip. My name is Vegan Atheist Coral. I was the one who personally drove down to pick Dexter up, and then I drove all the way to drop him off over at Bool's sister's place, and then drove back home. I heard that there were questions in regarding to the receipts, and if that's you, yes, I'm talking to you. Anyone else that might have questions, instead of going to other people, here's your open invitation to come to me directly. I'm very happy to answer any questions you might have. If not, shut the fuck up. Bye.
When she found that video, the cat was out of the bag and she became aware that there was some fuckery afoot. Despite the claims out there, I did try to keep her eyes away from this, because I agree. She shouldn't have to deal with the bullshit being spread about this fundraiser and about the good people that made it a success. She made the offer to clear things up because she was irritated by the misinformation going around by a particular dumbass, and I took her up on it. And I will not apologize for that because I have nothing to apologize for, especially when some of you fucks were literally begging for total confirmation, and it doesn't get much better than this. So why are the dumb fucks in question so salty about this? My theory is that they never wanted the answer, because now that they've heard the facts straight from the sister, they are forced to scramble to come up with even more bullshit, even going so far as to claim that the woman I was speaking to wasn't actually Bool's sister. Well, that was to be expected. After all, this is what happens when your conspiracy gets blown right out of the fucking water. You have to make excuses like that to remain ignorant. Finally, I want to branch away from the Bool Fundraiser and speak briefly about another that we did in the past and about my fundraisers in general. Back in 2019, we set up a fundraiser for Sean Hufford. Even though we never reached our goal, we did get close enough to help Sean with his rent and eventual move. This was due to Sean losing his job. Because dipshits were failing to find anything wrong with the Bool Fundraiser, they decided to switch gears and complain about this one instead. Long story short, they found some documents that bring into question whether Sean Hufford paid rent. Apparently, the landlord wrote down that Sean left due to an eviction, rather than deciding that the apartment, and the entire city for that matter, was not the best place to live or to find work again. As the person who remained in constant communication with Sean before, during, and after his move, I will again not apologize for hosting this fundraiser for him. First off, the documents that you found don't necessarily make the claim that he didn't pay rent, and secondly, I am confident that the funds Sean received were used responsibly and for their intended purpose. This is of course with the acknowledgement that Sean's ex did screw him over by stealing some of the funds, about $1,000 worth. But he didn't hide this fact. The only reason you shitheads know about it is because of Sean's honesty, and for you to slam him for a mistake that he fully owns says more about you than it does about him, especially when you're asking him to do it again. Sean learned to trust no bitch, and that is why he did not take your advice to give someone else access to his PayPal just so you could confirm that Sean really did transfer out the funds for Dexter and the check. We are human, and sometimes mistakes happen, and I will not demonize Sean for making a mistake here, like believing in somebody who he lived with and trusted for 12 years. And secondly, should he have kept the records to clear his name from your slander? Sure, I can accept that also. And as I speak, Sean is already working to get those records that will confirm that rent was paid. We will have to wait and see what happens there. Also, consider this. Sean called me sounding pretty defeated about his situation at one point. While this fundraiser did help immensely, it still wasn't enough to get Sean to where he is today. So what I did was I dipped into my own bank account and I spotted Sean Hufford myself to the tune of $500 extra. His reaction to this left me with zero doubt that he understood the gravity of the help he had received, not just from me, but from everybody, from the entire community. This is why Sean has been open and honest about the help he has gotten. That way he can give proper thanks to the community that literally saved his ass. His honesty and transparency is the only reason some have a value to bitch about in the first place, because he never hid how much the fundraiser brought in, and if you're trying to run a scam, you tend to be a little more sneaky than that. Sean's shitty bookkeeping does not invalidate what I know transpired. If that's not good enough for you and you donated, ask for a refund. If you didn't donate, then kindly fuck off, because I don't owe you a goddamn thing. You're lucky you're even getting this much. But the best part is that this does nothing to convince my audience that I am a scammer. We have even offered refunds in the past on this very channel, the same channel that you claim is all about stealing people's money, and nobody took us up on our offer because nobody gave a shit about your slander in the past. And on a personal note, offering refunds has been a standing policy with me since 2014. Way before being a slanderous piece of shit was the goal of a certain vaping moron. I told you the story so that you know what happened. Now here's the conclusion. If you want a full refund, please send me a PM over Skype or leave a comment and I will refund your donation in full. So again, if you want a refund, contact me. So once again, if you donated to Sean Hufford in 2019 and you would like a refund, that is perfectly fine. Just get in contact with us and we will make that happen. We'll compare screenshots, and if everything checks out, you will get your donation back. How is that for accountability? No matter what anybody says, this is all about choice. Donating is completely voluntary from start to finish. And if you do feel uncomfortable about donating to any fundraiser, including mine, then I urge you to not. That has always been my message on this channel, despite what some may claim. When my audience donated to Bool's family, they knew the funds would be used as they were intended. They didn't give a flying fuck about your slander then, and they won't give a flying fuck about your slander in the future. Your continuous bitching has only reinforced the fact that this channel does run honest fundraisers and is ready to help when needed. The receipts posted may not convince you, Mr. Dumbass, because you don't want to be convinced. But for my loyal viewers and supporters, they have no doubt and would happily donate again if another emergency or tragedy needed addressing. I will end with this. No matter what conspiracy you come up with, the fact that the family is on my side should tell you everything you need to know. For the people that know who they are, you are about to hear the sister again. Truly listen to what she has to say. Then you should apologize for putting her through this, because it is by your actions and your slander that she feels compelled to speak once again. And to the rest of you, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, and thank you for the love that you have shown Bool. May he rest in peace.
So, you all know that my brother passed away, Bool's passed away the day after Christmas, and it was a really hard time, unexpected for my family and I. And I have got to say that Red, Coral, and Astronomy were absolutely amazing during all of this. The same is true for their community who donated and helped my family beyond description. David was a good soul and clearly had a good set of friends. He had a good community supporting him, and I couldn't have asked for a better miracle. But it isn't all good news. When I discovered the filth that was being said about this community that donated to my brother and the family, it honestly just pissed me off. And who would want such lies to stand? I thought doing a bit of an interview would clear up many of the lies that have been spread, but it looks like we'll have to give this another try. So listen up. Listen up. At no point did Red push me to do the first interview. I did that interview by choice and answered the questions honestly because the community that has helped my family and I deserve to be treated respectfully. So I would appreciate it if you didn't speak for me. The words I said were my own because they were true and have always been my own. The same is true now. So for the last time, and this will be the last time, this fundraiser was done with the blessing of me, my mother, and my father from the very beginning. Everything that happened with this money, we knew about. Every purchase that was made, we approved. And to even suggest otherwise, I find that dishonest and disrespectful. Another thing I find disrespectful is flagging the fundraiser after some lies were spread online. You know who you are. And just know that I find such actions disgusting. And if you are saying anything that motivated this behavior, I also find that disgusting. Because of your words and your actions, we have been denied that money for over a month. Lucky for us, the wait is almost over. Any claim that this fundraiser was fraudulent is a lie. We got Dexter home safely, we received the check in the mail, and they followed our wishes by making sure David's computer was destroyed. It was important to keep his privacy protected after his death. We are thankful. Nothing more needs to be said, and that is my wish. Enough is enough. To Red and Coral and Astronomy, thank you for being there for us and for all you have done. I ask that you don't pay attention to this negativity anymore.